flexible dieting and intermittent fasting. Zach, do I do flexible dieting or do I do intermittent fasting? So in today's video, I want to show you guys that intermittent fasting is actually a tool in the Flexible Dieter's Toolkit. It is something that helps us create nutritional freedom, fit our nutrition into our lifestyle, and hit our macros more consistently. But before we begin, please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. We have so much more cool content coming. And as you're listening to this video, I want you to write down questions that you still have or ones that you would love for me to answer, and make sure to comment them below because we will be taking those and answering them in future videos. And if you don't know what intermittent fasting is, don't worry, I'm gonna cover it right now. So intermittent fasting is simply exactly what it says in the name. You're intermittently fasting. So what that means is in a normal person's life, they would fast for 8 hours. So for example, they would go to bed at 10 p.m., they wake up at 6 a.m. and they'd eat breakfast and break their fast. So they fast for about 8 hours and then they would feast for 16 hours. Well, now intermittent fasting is kind of flipping that on its head. It's now allowing you to fast for 16 hours and eat for 8. That's the most popular way that most people are doing it. So for example, this would look like you skipping breakfast and eating your first meal around lunchtime, around 12 p.m.
What are we having? Just your standard regular lunch, I guess. PB&J with the crusts cut off. Well, Brian, this is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented. Did your mom marry Mr. Rogers? No, Mr. Johnson.
And then you would eat the rest of your macros until 8 p.m. And then you would fast until the next day at lunchtime. There's a few things you need to understand here. There's nothing magical about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is just a tool. So what we know in the nutritional hierarchy of importance is our macros are still the most important thing. And if we hit our macros, as you guys know, as flexible dieters, you hit your calories. So what I've noticed for me is I love using intermittent fasting because I'm super busy in the morning. Have you ever had one of those days where, like, before you know it, it's noontime and you haven't eaten anything? And when you think back to what that day consisted of is you were super busy in the morning. You were doing a bunch of different things. You're like, whoa, I totally forgot to eat. And that's how my life is pretty much on a daily basis. And I've noticed a lot of people that have had success with intermittent fasting, their lives are a lot like that as well. I'm most productive in the morning. I'm not that hungry. I love winning the day by noontime. To where the rest of the day is a success. So if I can knock out my big tasks in the morning and not have to worry about food, then I can enjoy my food the rest of the day. And then I have from noontime till the time I go to bed to enjoy more macros in a shorter eating window, thus allowing me to eat bigger meals. So before I go into all the tips and tricks to get started with intermittent fasting, I just truly need you guys to understand that intermittent fasting is a tool. And intermittent fasting can be used in the wrong way. I personally have seen people use it in the sense of they make it into a glorified binge. They fast for 22 hours and then they'll have a 2-hour eating window. Well, they'll fit all their macros into one 2-hour eating window and they'll hit their macros, but they'll do it like that. And there's nothing bad with it. I have very good friends that do this, but if you're not experienced, and you're not being honest with yourself and saying, is this a binge? Is this an excuse to binge? Or am I making myself suffer in order to make myself have fun in that 2-hour eating window? Is that what's really happening? Or are you using it as a tool to hit your macros? That's simple and plain. Is there a distorted relationship with food that's happening right here to where you're just using it as an excuse to binge? Or are you using it as a tool to hit your macros and to have your nutrition fit your lifestyle? All right, so how do you get started with intermittent fasting? It's very simple. All you got to do is skip breakfast. That is the very easy first step that you can do is skip breakfast and make sure that you're super busy in the morning. Put your most creative and most important tasks in the morning and knock those out. I guarantee because you're going to be so immersed in them that you're not going to think about food. So what I like to do the night before is I plan what my morning is going to look like. I already know what I'm going to be doing that next morning. So I wake up and I chug 20 ounces of room temperature water. And that's going to just clear out my system. It's going to fill my stomach with water. A lot of people are hungry in the mornings just because they're dehydrated. Then about 20 minutes later, once I make my coffee, I have my coffee. So I drink my coffee, and caffeine hits you so much harder on an empty stomach. Thus, now I'm in the freaking zone. So I'm ready to crush my work. Caffeine is hitting me, and I'm ready to go. And so I start knocking things out. So let's say I finish my coffee and it's about 10 a.m., 10:15. So now it's still about an hour and a half till lunchtime. I grab about a 20 to 36 ounce sparkling water. These things help me out so much because there's carbonation. So you can get a flavored one or an unflavored one. But nonetheless, the sparkling water, the aspect of the carbonation will help fill you up some more and give you more time and delay that hunger until you get to lunchtime. And one thing I want you guys to know is like, you don't have to necessarily get to lunch. You can get to 11 a.m. Noontime compared to 11 a.m. it's not that big of a deal. But the goal is just to be consistent with it and find that time that works best for you. So if lunchtime is 11 a.m., that works out perfectly. And one question you might be thinking, Zach, but I'm hungry. Doesn't that mean I need to eat? Not necessarily. Hunger is habitual. It's something that our body gets used to, the eating windows that you give it. So if you usually eat breakfast, you're going to be hungry at breakfast because your body is used to giving you that signal of being hungry then.
The morning consumption of mass quantities. Grid-like breakfast slabs, extruded mammal tailings, seared strips of swine flesh, and flattened chicken embryos. I will enjoy it.
Your body loves routine. So you got to think of when you usually eat, it's just giving your body a signal to let you know when you usually like to eat. And so what's going to happen is your hunger is going to show up when you normally eat, because that's when your body's like, okay, this is when we normally eat. And it's going to let you know that this is when it's normally eat. In evolution, we didn't have a watch telling us what time it was. We had our hunger cues telling us, hey, this is when we normally eat. And so it's going to be hard for the first couple weeks. Your hunger is going to be fighting you. But these tools that I gave, like the sparkling water, the coffee, and drinking a lot more water, is going to help that transition period. And remember, our goal is if it fits your lifestyle. That is the biggest thing that we're focused on, because that's going to create sustainability. So if you love eating breakfast, by all means, eat breakfast. But if you want to delay your food and eat more of your food later on in the day, and you can also use it around social situations. If you're going out to eat that night, it's a lot easier to delay till noontime and have your first meal, eat lighter then, and then you have more macros to play with the rest of the night. It's going to be based around fitting your lifestyle. That's what you truly have to understand. Most of us are truly busy in the mornings. We're our most creative, our most productive. So why not use that as a time to focus on that, not focus on food, and then later on in the day, we can focus more on food, have a big smile on our face, and really enjoy it. So one thing you might be thinking is, Zach, I work out in the morning. So what do I do? How do I implement intermittent fasting? So I want you to think of this. The night before, you were actually fueling your workout that morning. So that meal that you had the night before, that's actually having breakfast the night before. So you're already fueled and ready to go for your workout the next morning. But what's going to happen is a lot of people think, Zach, I need to eat something after I work out in order to save my gains. And like, I truly understand that. The science shows that there is a slight benefit of having that post-workout meal. So say you work out at 6 a.m. and you have that post-workout meal around 8 a.m. Or you can prolong that fast till noontime and then still have that 8-hour eating window from 12 to 8, whatever eating window you want to have. But there's a slight benefit it shows. And for most of us watching this, we're not trying to maximize every ounce of muscle we can put onto our bodies. We're not. We're trying to look good with our shirts off, enjoy food, have it fit our lifestyle, and have fun and make something that is sustainable, that we can enjoy and have fun and have nutrition finally on our side and literally achieve nutritional freedom. So if you're worried about the 1 to 2% and maximize every ounce of muscle on your body, then yes, you'll want to do that. But I highly doubt that all of us are really, really worried about that. And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. This is so much fun providing this educational content. And please leave me a comment below. Let me know, have you tried intermittent fasting? What has your experience been so far? What is the biggest struggle that you're having with it? And then maybe I can answer that question in a future video. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. We have so much more cool content coming. I appreciate you all so much. I appreciate your attention. That is the most valuable currency there is. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next video.